Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Welcome to the round 18 preview in on the road again, as was last week's preview, which was very well received, so clearly you like it. It's again a very busy week for me, and got a lovely drink, got my coffee ready to go, talking about the footy, the sun's out. Getting some fresh air. Hopefully you're all having a great week so far, and it's only a couple days away until we can avenge last Saturday night's terrible performance. We've got the Doggies on Friday night football, 7:50 p.m, Marvel Stadium. They're just below us on the ladder, I think a game off us. Their percentage is better than ours, and they're coming in off the back of a really disappointing result against the Swans. I really thought that was going to be a bit of a closer game, similar to our game where, if you're a neutral watching that game, you probably thought both of them would go down to the wire, but both of them were pretty much, the Sydney game was done at quarter time, whereas ours was done at three-quarter time, so it took a bit longer for us, but nonetheless, it was a very similar type game for both clubs, and both of us are really, up and down, inconsistent. 4 of our last 5 we've lost. They're very similar. Their midfield's racking up a lot of numbers, but their forward line's not firing. And for us, it's not really our midfield; it's more the forward line not firing. So it's two teams that you couldn't split us. The Doggies are marginal favourites, and I think that's just because they've made a granny last year, and that's about it. And they've got form, they've got Bont, they've got more stars on paper, and they're going to get Bailey Smith back. They potentially could debut Darcy. And obviously Josh Bruce is a big chance of coming in as well and supporting Norton, as well as Ugelhagen, who's playing in the forward line as well. So they've got a lot of tools that are going to worry us. They're going to see what Fremantle did with Lob, and they're going to try and exploit that. Obviously, down back, we're going to be with Joyce again, I believe. We'll see when the teams come out, but I would be very surprised if we dropped him. That would basically mean that Joyce's papers are stamped and he's done at the club forever. And I think we've got to give him at least one more week to find his feet, because I thought he did some good contest stuff last week, and it was more just the ball in hand. Don't give him the ball. Don't let him kick the ball. Just let him smother and tackle and chase and do all that big man stuff. And the finesse, just run by, get the hands off him. Don't let him kick it. So that should be a lesson learned for everyone around Joyce when he gets the ball, is to be around him to call for it and use it. For us, D-Mac could be a big in. I think Mitch Owens is a chance. And obviously we've got Hunter Clark, who's on the mend, but I think he needs a week or two more. And then the one that we really need is Dougal Howard, but he's probably a couple of weeks away as well. So we might well just get the one change done, and that could be D-Mac. And I would say, I hate to say, but maybe for Mason Wood would work. I think Wood's game on the wing last week was a bit up and down. And our best form has coincided with D-Mac playing really good footy, and our worst form is coincided with D-Mac not being in the team. So I think we need him back on that wing, and we need to get Brad Hill back up on a wing and not a half-back flank. We need to get back to the first 8 weeks Saints of that structure we had, attacking football, and I think that could really exploit the Dogs, because the one thing we know about the Dogs is they love to get the ball, they love to use the ball, but they're not very accountable. Their defense isn't very accountable. Their mids, aren't of that defensive mindset, apart from maybe one in Libba. He's very good at balancing the two, whether it's attack or defense. But you've got McRae, you've got obviously Bontempelli, Bailey Smith coming back, you've got Lockie Hunter, all of these guys in there that are very much see ball, get the ball, and not so much see my opponent get the ball, chase them, and work hard back. They don't really do that. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do in the midfield battle, because if we get on top, I think we can exploit that. It's just a matter of stopping their supply, and their supply is going to be very good because Tim English is in very good form, playing all over the ground. He's basically another midfielder for them. So Rowan Marshall and Paddy Ryder are going to need to play the absolute best. And then when it comes to the forward line, we've got them set there. They're not the greatest back line. They don't have the biggest talls down there. I think they've got Gardner, maybe Keith. I don't know if he's even playing at the moment. So there's a lot of matchups there that we can exploit if we play just a good brand of football. If we just lower the eyes, we lead, we isolate our forwards. They don't all run and jump at the same ball. then we can kick a winning score. We did that against Carlton and it worked. So the fact that for some reason in the second half last week, everything turned to shit, I think it had a lot to do with a bit of mental fragility with the umpiring and just the game not going our way, as well as just general inconsistency, which we've proven is still a major problem at the footy club this year, you know. So I think for us, it's first and foremost to just make sure they don't dominate the middle. And I feel like this is an ongoing trend every week in the previews, but it is because our midfield's not the strongest point on the ground. Obviously, last week in the first half, we did well. Paddy Ryder gave us first use, but the second half, they were non-existent. So if they put in that sort of effort in the second half in this game, the Bulldogs players are going to love it because it's going to be uncontested. They're going to get their hands onto it every time. There's going to be limited pressure and they're going to be able to use their skills under no pressure to hit, whether it's Bruce or Norton or Ugelhagen or whoever in the forward line, and they're going to kick a big score. And that's what happened last time we played them. 111 points was the margin last time, and we don't want it to be anything like that again. Obviously, they're below us on the ladder, so I think it's, you know, they're not at their best and we're not at our best, so it's really who can minimize the mistakes and who can get close to their best form for the longest in this game. That's what the deciding factor is going to be for me. So just play Saints footy, boys. You know, we don't mind if you try your best and you lose, but to basically seemingly give up in the second half against Fremantle, that sets a really rotten taste in all our mouths, in our guts. You know, it hits us in the gut and we're like, these boys aren't fighting for the colours. They're not fighting for the jumpers that they're wearing. So at the very least, that's what we want to see on Friday night. We want to see you fighting for the season, because if we lose this, the season is done. If we win this, the season is on, because we've got Hawthorn, we've got West Coast in consecutive weeks. Those are winnable games. This is a winnable game. Despite us being underdogs, to me, we're probably the better team this year, obviously, because we're a game ahead of them. But the Doggies on their day can be a very good team, and they're going to be fighting really hard to make finals again after, you know, a disappointing end to their season last year, getting done big time in the grand finals. So for me, I think if we start bombing it, that's it. Like, we're not going to win this game. We need to play smart. And first and foremost, we need to be accountable for the midfield, because if they run off us and they run rings around us like the Fremantle players did last week, it's going to be a very tough night at the office on a Friday night. So prime time, Sainers, I implore you, get to the game if you can. Last week's crowd was so minimal. It was loud. Sainers were loud, so I'll give you credit there. But this is two Victorian clubs that are vying for a top 8 spot late in the season on a Friday night under the roof. It doesn't get much bigger than that. And I feel like I've said it many weeks, but our players seem to thrive off that energy from the crowd. And the energy was very good in the first half last week. Funnily enough, we find ourselves in front. Second half, very quiet. Fremantle get on top. Our cheering gets minimalized. It just goes to shit, basically. And Fremantle get on top and our players drop our heads. So if we can show up in good numbers against the Doggies, they're one of our biggest rivals. You know, they've only got the 1 or 2 premierships. We've got the 1. I think they understand what we've been through. We understand what they've been through. They've actually got the premiership in the last 10 years, and we haven't, obviously, in the last 50 years. So we want to smash them on the Friday night. There's no better club outside of Geelong, I think, in Carlton to beat than the Bulldogs. So let's hope we can get it done on Friday night. So I'll leave it there, Sainers. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you're watching this and you enjoyed it, please like, comment your thoughts on the game. How are you feeling leading up into the big Friday night game? I'm pretty nervous, to be honest. And if you like this content and you want to see more, hit subscribe and you get notified on all the future videos on the channel. My next video will be the live review on Facebook, Friday Night Football, hopefully talk about a win. But until then, Sainers, enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.